Hello, everyone. Brad, did you see me jamming back there?
I did. Great tunes. Love it. Love the
I
music.
love it. I can't
Yeah.
help it every single time. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Can't help but groove to that.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, everyone. And happy Tuesday. This week is so powerful that I hope you listen to my energy forecast, the Lions Gateway transmission to just help you just grab all that sweet nectar that is being poured upon us this week with that Lionsgate portal. And today I'm so excited to bring my brother to join me as we talk about things that ignite us, things that shift not just us, but also gifts the world. Brad, thank you for joining me.
It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be here with you, Abigail. Thank you so much for allowing me the space to be here with you and share a little bit about the work I'm doing and the mission I'm on and just be here with you and just spend time with you.
Ooh, we could do a whole session on just the work you're doing. Like, let me just put it that way. Maybe I need to bring you back so we can talk about
I
that.
would be honored.
Because that's what drew me to you. Like, just hearing about your mission, your purpose, how it just fired you up. Like, just even hearing you talk about, I was like, yes. And then being able to be on your podcast as well, and then meeting some of the women in that community. I mean, just what you're doing is okay. Let's just start. Let's start here. Okay.
All right.
Let's start with this. For people who don't know you, let's start with who are you and what is your service in the world?
So my name is Brad Walsh. I am the host, producer of the Empowerography podcast. That's my mainstay. That's where I got my start. It's all about helping women, helping amplify their voices, elevate them through the platform, being able to share their story to hopefully help reach and inspire as many women as we possibly can through those stories. I love being able to sit down and just converse with all of you. I mean, Abigail, you've been on as a guest. We haven't released your episode yet, but that will be coming soon enough. I just love being able to sit and hold conversation, hold space for women to let them share their stories. The whole point of the platform is to help reach and inspire as many women as we possibly can. So there's women from all different areas of entrepreneurship, all different walks of life, all over the world. And I know that I have found my purpose and my mission in providing this platform. I love being able to do this. It sets my soul on fire like no work I have ever done in my life. And I mean, I'm a photographer. I have photography in my life. I started shooting back in high school. I learned how to shoot on black and white film. And I don't know, Abigail, honestly, nothing has ever created such a fire in my belly as much as this work that I'm doing now with providing this platform to help elevate women and amplify their voices through stories.
You don't have to convince me. I'm telling you. And I love that this platform that you've created is expanding and evolving in ways that are like, you're just like, oh my gosh, I never thought this was possible. And we're going to be talking about that. So let's talk a little bit about the podcast.
Sure.
Like, what inspired you to start it? And also, what are some stories that you pull in there?
The podcast. Well, the main inspiration for the podcast was, that's twofold. So my daughters are a big part of the inspiration behind that. I have two daughters. They're aged 21 and 23. And as children in elementary school, they were both bullied. And so seeing what the girls went through and seeing the effects that it had on them carry through with them to the different stages of their lives, it just, like, from elementary school to high school to now, the effects are still prevalent. I still see them in the girls, and that's heartbreaking for me. And yes, of course, because they're my daughters, but when I take a step back and look at the whole picture through a wider lens, the fact that there are hundreds of millions of young women who and young girls and women who go through that on a daily basis and have it affect how they feel about themselves. And so I just wanted to provide a space where women who have been through things similar to that or other experiences in their life and have overcome that adversity and come out the other side shining like stars. I wanted to be able to provide a platform where they could share their experiences to let other women know that they're not alone, that they have gone through this too, and that this too can give them the strength and the courage to stand up and share their story, and that it's okay, and that there are people out there who can relate to it and pull inspiration from that. And so the stories, I mean, I just published my 344th episode today, and it's just, honestly, I pull inspiration from every single one of these women's stories, because you all have such, I mean, the stories are so different, but there is a common thread through them all. And I pull, honestly, I get so inspired by every single one of the conversations I have, because you have all been through and struggled through different things, but come through the other side, and you're all thriving. And that's the beauty of it, is to see that triumph, that you've overcome what you've overcome in your life and come out the other side. And everybody in the community, I have to say, they're all there to support one another and give back and help each other. And that's something I'm not used to seeing, in terms of coming from a corporate background where women were always in competition with one another. And that's not because they wanted to be in competition with one another. That's because they had to be, because the positions in corporate are so far and few between for women, which is a whole other problem. And that's a whole other episode we could get into and talk about all of that. But to see the shift, it's been a complete 180 since I started the podcast 2.5 years ago. What I have seen amongst the women who are part of this community is just so inspiring, because everyone is there to lend that hand, to support one another, to give back, to collaborate with one another. It's such a beautiful thing to see, truly.
I experience it every day. Every time I pop into that group, like, it's there. It's the type of women in that group. Like, I'm just, I tell my husband this all the time. Like, I feel so blessed to be able to, surround myself with women that are, leaders, not just leaders, like heart-centered leaders. They're doing things differently. They're doing, like they're sharing their gifts in the world, because they understand that their mission is bigger than them.
That's it right there. Is you all understand that it's so much bigger than you are, and everybody is there. Everybody within the community, within the Empowerography community, is of the same mindset as, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I be of service to you? Not, what do I get out of this, or what's in it for me? Everybody is there with, how can I serve you? And that's the beauty of it right there.
I was going to say the support too.
Yeah.
Like, it is beautiful. Like, to be around powerful women and not feel like you're in competition, that's rare. Okay.
Yeah. And you're all so kick ass. Like, you're just so bad. Every single one of you is got that kick ass, badass mentality and attitude that is just, it's so inspiring. Like, it just lights me up. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to see. Truly. You are all amazing.
You are. And you are too. You have to be. You created the container that attracted that awesomeness.
Well,
so you have to be.
Yes. Okay. I started it, but I can't take credit for what it is today. We all take credit for that, because we've all built it. We've all taken part in that. I cannot solely take credit, because without the women like yourself and all the other women who are part of the community, Empowerography doesn't even exist. So it's a community thing that's been built, not just by me. I came up with the idea, the inception of it, but we've all built it to what it is today. We all have to take credit for that.
I know, but I'm gonna seriously, like, just take it, like, just breathe it in, because I mean, energetics wise, you have to hold that energy, that massive, powerful energy, to be able to bring through powerful women to come together in harmony. Like,
true.
It does not. It takes a special person to be able to do this. So just take it
All
in.
right, I'll take it in right now. Okay, I will take that in. I receive that. I take that. Thank you, Abigail, for acknowledging that.
So let's go back to the part where we're talking about how this community, this
Mhm.
mission is expanding and growing in ways that you never thought was possible. And one of the things is the collaboration books that you
Yes.
are creating. And
Yeah.
your first one became international bestseller like
Mhm.
recently. And you
Yeah,
took like more than, was it about 30 or more
30
women with
women,
you?
30 women, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that experience, Abigail, I mean, you know what that world's like. You're part of that world, the collaborative books. It was so we announced the book back in mid-March, I think it was, just after my women's empowerment conference that I hold at the beginning of March every year. So we announced the book mid-March, and transforming pain into purpose, uplifting stories of empowerment. And I don't know, like 30 women came together, so powerful. Like women from Australia, New Zealand, United States, Canada, they all just came together. And I would say about 95% of these women didn't know each other from Adam. They didn't know each other before the book. There were a handful that knew each other
Yeah.
before the book. But what I have seen, speaking of community, is exactly that. Like from mid-March to when we launched July 29th, just 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, to see how much support these women gave each other through the whole process was just mind-blowing to me. It was so beautiful. It escapes words. I cannot fully describe how powerful that process was. And to see all of these women supporting one another, cheering one another on, commenting, support, like cheerleading all over each other's social media. That to me, honestly, as a co-publisher, that part of the process was hands down the absolute best part for me as a publisher. That was the most magical thing to see happen, and the most important part to me is to see those connections being made, because it goes, as you mentioned with other things, it supersedes the actual book itself. It goes far beyond the book. It's the relationships. Those
Yeah.
relationships will continue on for life. Like that doesn't stop after the book comes out, after the book is launched, after the book is, and not to say that the book will get forgotten, but long after the book,
Yeah.
those relationships are what stays. That's the
Mhm.
important part. And that is the beauty of collaborative books. That is the beauty of the process. That's the beauty of community. We are all craving that right now.
Oh,
Everybody wants to belong to a community where they are seen, where they are heard. And these collaborative books are exactly that.
I'm so glad
100%.
you said that. Because I think, when you think about publishers and, like the norm, what do you call it? Like the old form,
Traditional
the
publishing.
traditional
Yeah.
publishing,
Mhm.
you don't think of community and,
No.
women and, the authors like celebrating each other and the relationship continuing.
Yeah.
And, the publisher is not separate and, like over here, not really,
Yeah.
you don't think about that, and people need to learn about it. Like, this is why we are so fired up doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's like, who are we bringing together, and what is happening during the process and afterwards. This is, I call it heart-centered publishers.
Yeah, you're right. That epitomizes it exactly, because you're right. The publisher would be sitting back, and you're on a journey on your own. Here with these books and what Adriana has built and
Yes.
created through Alma Publishing is all about community, and it is so important and so integral. It is such a huge piece of these books. To me, it's the most important part of the books. Yes, it's great to write your story and put it out there. Of course, that's what people want. They want to become #1 international
Yes.
bestselling authors, and that's beautiful in itself. But for me, honestly, the best and my favorite part of it all is the community and seeing the authors support one another. There's nothing better than that. It is so beautiful to see, because like I said, those go far beyond the book, and the
Absolutely.
support that they give each other is just, it's magical, truly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, well, now I know what inspired you to create it.
Absolutely. You
And
can't.
the best part about this whole process, now it
Yeah.
makes sense why you're like, yes, let's do more. So let's go into that. What I know you have two more coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's dive into that. What are
Sure.
they? And what inspired you with those?
Well, I mean, the one that we just launched, Transforming Pain into Purpose, was that title I found in all, and I had hundreds of conversations with hundreds of different women about that book. And there was one common theme, one common thread amongst all those conversations. They all resonated with that title. They too have a story in their life of transforming pain into purpose. So for the next one of the next books that I'm doing is called Transforming Pain into Purpose: Triumphant Tales of Empowerment. I figured, why reinvent the wheel? I went to Adriana, and her and I had a discussion about what we should call the next book, and we both decided that, you know what, it just makes sense. Why would we reinvent the wheel? Let's just play off of that, create basically a volume 2 of
Yes.
Transforming Pain into Purpose, because it resonated with so many people. Everybody has a story about that in their lives. They're all different, but everybody has a story like that. So I figured that's got to be the next one, because it was so resonant with so many people. And then I thought, why not create some, because there's such a huge movement now of women leaving corporate, starting their own businesses, because they're tired of the bullshit that goes on in corporate, where they're not getting their due. They're being ignored. They're not getting equal pay for doing the same job as their male counterparts. There's not enough women sitting at the boardroom table in these corporations. So with that movement of women jumping into entrepreneurship, I thought, why not create another title where we called it Building Empires: Success Stories of a CEO. Let women share their stories of how they built their business, what struggles they went through as women building their businesses, what they had to deal with and what they overcome, and shattering those glass ceilings. So I figured that would be a great opportunity for women to be able to share their stories about how they built their business, which will also in turn, maybe that will give other women, and I don't like using this word permission, but to show them that it's possible, to show them what they too can create, that other women are doing this and they too can do that. So that was the inspiration for that. That's where the inspiration came from for both of those books. For me, these books are basically an extension of my podcast. It's just another vehicle, another platform for women to be able to share their stories. And as you know, that's what I love doing. That's what I'm all about, is providing a platform, holding space, providing these opportunities for women to share their stories, to get them out into the world. So it was just kind of a natural progression, I guess. The books just kind of fell together, you know?
Really made sense.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
about time.
Yeah. It took a while to get here, but we're here now. So
I love the second book. You said she EO.
EOs. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that so much. Yes.
I love it. I think that we need to get more of these stories out into the world. And that's what these collaborative books do, because it gives so many people an opportunity to get into one space and share their stories. And as you know, writing your story, and as we've talked about, it can be very lonely. So when you have that in the traditional publishing days, so when you have that community there to support you, plus all of the resources that Alma Publishing provides for you to write your story, you can't go wrong. It's such a powerful thing.
Oh man. Whew. I'm just so
You light me up, Abigail. You light me up.
Likewise, brother.
I love it.
I love listening to you. Everything that you say, I can see how they all come together, and like your passion behind just like providing the platform for us to share, and so that other women can also find these shares and be like, oh, that's possible. Oh, I can do that too. Wait, you can do that? Right?
And find their sisterhood. Find their sisterhood, which is key, right?
Yes. Sisterhood that doesn't compete, that doesn't fight each other. Like we need to, we know this is like my work. Like we're shifting this. It's like we need to stop fighting each other. It's been too long. We got to stop that, and we're seeing more and more of these communities where women are coming together very powerfully, starting to rise up in a way, right? Or
Have you seen a shift personally in your world where you are?
yes, yes, of
Where
course,
the
it's my
sisterhood is
world.
coming
I
together.
create
Yeah, there
that.
you go. So it's coming, and it's going to keep growing, right? We just have
Yes,
to keep putting the word out there about
exactly.
these communities and getting more women involved, because the more women we get involved in these communities, the better off everybody is. You cannot
Yes.
lose with community. You just can't.
And I love that you said like it's because I feel like it's been there, but it's just
Yeah.
been like on the surface. And
Hmm.
now it's just like, okay, we need to talk more about it. We need to put it out there so that women know it's there and it's available and it's open. And that
Yes.
is what I'm starting to see, where they're coming up. It's like, oh, I didn't know you were there, or people are like, oh, you created this. Oh, I'm gonna create another one like this over here,
Hmm.
to so that the people over here can find it. Oh, it's beautiful.
What do you think has caused this uncovering? Because you said it's like it's been undercover for a while. So what do you think has caused this uncovering?
Well, the divine feminine is rising. I mean, you hear that, but it is
Mhm,
true that that true goddess essence is not hiding. She's not hiding anymore. And
mhm.
that essence is rising up in all women. Like that the time where we needed to hide in order
Yeah.
for us to feel safe, in order
Mhm.
for us to fit in. All of that, the constructs are breaking down, whether we like it or not. So it's like we have no choice but to allow that flower to step up and actually open up in the world so that we can, oh, I didn't know I was a rose. I didn't know. Oh, look at you. You are a lotus. How can like we're starting to bloom and more, we're seeing more of that blossom. Like we have no choice. We've just come to that point in terms of time on the earth.
Mhm.
It's come to that point. And it's not even about, and this is something that I keep sharing. And my sisters, who are in that same energy share the same thing. It's not about divine or masculine being, like snuffed out or
Yeah.
no, we've done that. It didn't work,
Rise
right?
together.
It's together. It's the dance between the masculine and the feminine. And that's going to take also an adjusting to, because we
Mhm.
haven't danced together in a long time.
No, no, and I think that I don't think there are enough men on board with this, and I think we need to get more men on board with this to show our sisters, our women, that we stand beside you shoulder to shoulder. We support you. You're right. It's not about women now overpowering men because men have been overpowering women. Let's get rid of that completely and let's rise up together as masculine and feminine and support one another because we both need it,
Yeah.
both of us.
It's happening.
Yeah,
It's a process because both sides need to redefine who they are
right.
to find their rhythm
Yeah.
and then come together and see how that fits together. It's a whole process. So one step at a time.
That's it. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're doing that dance. We're getting into the
Yes,
space to start dancing together. And I love
exactly.
listening to you talk too. This is like your passion is so incredibly powerful too, Abigail. I know how passionate you are about the work that you do and about supporting your sisters and bringing that to I love it. I
Thank
absolutely love it. It's
you.
so infectious. It truly is. The energy play and exchange between us is beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. See, guys, like we can go
We
on and on. Like
yes.
I'll have to bring him back on so we can actually talk about just to focus on what lights you up. Like
Yeah.
because I've heard it, but I want people to hear that part too.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
so
Mhm.
how do people find you? Because that's important.
Yes. So usually I'm hanging out, as you mentioned, in the Empowerography Podcast Lounge on Facebook. So you just have to search Empowerography Podcast Lounge on Facebook. I have an account on Instagram, Empowerography Podcast, and then you can check out my website, www.empowerographypodcast.com. And those are the three places where I'm usually hanging out.
Beautiful. Send me the links and I can
Yes,
put it
I
in
will.
the show notes.
Absolutely.
And also for the women that want to be part of the collaborative books,
Mhm.
how do they do that?
They could just reach out to me on Facebook. Just send me a DM on Facebook, and I'd be happy to entertain and hop into a conversation. We can hop on a Zoom and chat all about it. I'll give you all the details, and you could tell me your story.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Trust me, you want to get on a call with him. Just do it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for just lightening my morning. It's a great way to start my morning with these soul chat. I love doing that.
This was amazing, Abigail. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Like I said, the energy exchange, you are so high energy and so powerful in your energy too. So it's always a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. And I would love to come back at some point and have a conversation about all the things. It'd be amazing. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
It's my pleasure, brother. And thank you everyone for joining us live. Let us know in the comments, what are some of your takeaways? And please make sure to just send Brad, like just connect with him, say hello, join the group. Like
yes.
I'm going to get that link.
Yes.
Get in there. If you're like, I've never experienced that kind of community with women. Well, now you get to. So join that group. I'll have that link. But yes, thank you all for joining. And until next time, from our hearts to yours. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.